Hey all, Hipper here. Today we're looking at a game I just happened to stumble upon on Xbox Live the other day. And it's called King of Seas. And yeah, I know the title just reeks of, low budget rip-off games from, I don't know, somewhere like, a Battle of Warship or War of Army or something like that. But the title apart is actually quite a decent game. I wish it was a little bit deeper, but it's a game that I've been looking for a long time since pretty much I played Sid Meier's Pirates back in the day. That's nearly 20 years ago. So this is a nice blend of combat, like RPG, action, and of course trading. So if you ever played Sid Meier's Pirates, this is not too far from it. You start with, of course, a puny ship, and then you can upgrade it, or you can decide to buy a bigger one. And of course, you can. There is like a main story in the game, but of course, you can pick and choose pretty much what you want to do. If you just want to be a pirate and sink other ships all the time, there's no problem. You can do that. And of course, if you want to trade or just look for treasure, you can do that. But of course, I like big ships, so I was trying out to get a frigate off the bat here, and it took me about a couple of hours of play, so not too bad. But there is a fair bit of grind in this game here. I'll get into that later. So the ships come with all kinds of cosmetic upgrades and also actual upgrades that improves the guns, the sails, the hull, pretty much anything. You also earn XP during the game that you can use to, well, rise in level. And when you get levels, you will put your points into new skills and abilities. And so it's very much like Diablo at sea, pretty much, I think. The trading aspect is quite basic, but it works. So you can actually just play this game as a trader all the time if you want to, and it never really gets boring. I don't think so. It's not as deep as I would like it to, but it's still very decent. Nothing to complain about there, really. So having your ship and your skills and your upgrades and your money and your gold and your trade and all that kind of stuff, it can get a little bit confusing. So it is quite a deep game, this game here. It's not super deep, but it's much deeper than I thought it would be. And I like that. It's easy to get started, easy to play, but under the surface it's quite deep. And it'll help this game last longer. Like I said before, there is a main story that you can follow, but there's also plenty of side quests, and most of them are pretty boring. All they are about is pretty much go to somewhere, kill someone, return, or go somewhere and trade something and return. And it's all fetch quests pretty much. But this is a cheap game, so I don't really mind. At least it's there, and at least it's possible, and at least it's well implemented. If you don't care about the storyline or the quests, you can just putter around the map on your own and find sunken ships that you can plunder for goodies, which is quite fun actually. They just show up at random, and you can find some really good stuff in there, some really cool upgrades for your ship and stuff. So it's always worth stopping and picking up a few fun things. And like the loot aspect is really big in this game. So even when you pass a random island, you can find a loot box on the shore that you can just stop and pick up on the way. And sometimes you'll find some trade merchandise, you get some experience, and yeah, it's a good little break in the gameplay. I like it. As you can see, the graphics are kept in a kind of cute style. I don't know what you want to call it. Like it's fine, but the performance is not as good as it should be. I mean, this is not challenging graphics or, like super or high definition HDR stuff. It's fairly basic stuff, and you can zoom the camera in and out in 3 levels, and that's pretty much all you can do with the camera, by the way. You cannot control it otherwise, which is a bit of a sore point. But when you zoom the camera all the way out, the game chucks a little bit depending on what goes on the screen, and that's really not good enough when you're dealing with like graphics on this level here that really pretty much an old iPhone could run. And I'm running it on Xbox X Series X, and it chucks sometimes, and I'm not too happy about that. But it's not bad. Like, I don't think it goes under 30 frames per second or anything like that, but it is noticeable. The game has a huge map, and an interesting thing in this game is that when you explore the map, you don't automatically add stuff to your minimap. You have to actually buy that information on your travels, and I don't know if I like this or not, but at least it's different. Now, sea battles are really fun in this game here, which they should be. And it's all about using your special abilities that you pick up while you play. You can have 4 of them, and there are a whole host of different ones, like from Kraken attacks to fireworks to peeing on the cannons. There's everything, basically. And the way to victory is to use those abilities in the best way possible. Of course, you also have normal cannons that you can fire broadsides with. But I find that less effective, and I kind of like that, because usually these games just turn into ships, you know, running in circles trying to broadside each other. And at least these special abilities here, they give it a different flavor, and you avoid those boring battles where like ships just go in circles until someone messes up and shows broadside. Of course, like random Kraken attacks happen in this game here, and that can be a little bit annoying when you're in the middle of a battle and a Kraken comes out of nowhere and just takes you out. You can, of course, repair your ship either at sea and also in port, which you have to do while it's stationary. So that's also something interesting. So obviously you can't do it while you're fighting another ship. So another thing that I like about this game here. So I picked this game up for about $25 US on Xbox Live, or 30 something Australian dollars, and it's not a full price game, and it's not as deep as a full price game should be, but it's still very decent, and a lot of entertainment here. Of course, there's no multiplayer at all, and that's a big downside. Had this game had multiplayer, it would have been awesome, but as it is, it's a very good single player experience for a day or two. So yeah, I recommend it, and I'll jump into it again, that's for sure.